Okay, today we're going to talk about something that was a little bit of an announcement this week through some of the Jack Reacher interviews, and it is the return of Blue Mountain State. They're coming back, having a one-season reunion, reboot, whatever you want to call it, and let's get into it first. Blue Mountain State was, I think it was 4 seasons following a collegiate football team that was one of the best at the Division I level, won, countless tournaments, but through their years of, Alex, whatever, being there, they kind of turned more into partying and, were still great football players, but ultimately just partied their asses off. They did the craziest shit, did the craziest drugs, did the craziest girls, did everything in the world. And the big thing with Blue Mountain State is, at the time, it was, raunchy, comedy and, a good show in turn. It didn't have the greatest plot lines at times. It wasn't, advanced, whatever. It was just a comedy show. Funny as hell, had some great stuff. And I got the chance to rewatch it recently, before this was even announced, just kind of watched it out on a limb. And to be honest, it kind of is, watching it again, like there's some funny moments, but I remember it being a little bit, funnier in general, a little bit better. I thought it was kind of, you don't really think about it when you first watch it, but after the first season, they lose their star wide receiver, and they write him off saying he went to another university and transferred, whatever. But then again, they bring in another one, Radon Rondell or whatever, and he leaves after another season. And it's like you're losing characters that you already built up throughout one season, and the only mainstays were Thad and Alex and, the mascot and his sister, whatever. But nothing really constant and nothing really that had a playoff. And then in the end, they ended up making a movie named Thadland after Thad goes to the NFL and basically is just boozing, doing the same thing as in college and whatever, but he has money and he's spending it on everything. And the movie was god-awful. It was terrible. It was something that I don't think should have been made. It really, it had a plot. I wouldn't say a good plot. It had a plot, and realistically, it was kind of just a shithole of a movie, but you could tell that they wanted to keep going at some capacity or whatever. But the thing is with this reboot is there are ways you can go with it. I think it's weird kind of now that, like maybe Alex or Thad is a coach of some sort at Blue Mountain State. That might be a way to do it, and, you bring in NIL money. That's the new big deal of paying people, and, that might be a avenue that you can go. But other than that, I think it's going to be hard to really explore this because it wasn't really plot-driven in the first place. It wasn't a plot-driven, show. It was kind of just a raunchy comedy, and, that's great. But the thing is for a reboot to be successful, which there are very few reboots that are successful, and anyone can go on about that. Reboots are kind of shitty in general. They just show kind of a lack of, innovation, to me at least. I think there are ways that you can bring reboots, but recently in the past years where they're just rebooting every damn show, every movie in the world, just because they don't really have original ideas. And that's the thing with Blue Mountain State that I really thought about. It's like, what is your idea on it? And I know that that's something obviously they're going to keep close to the chest until the show starts getting trailers, starts filming and stuff like that. But really thinking about it, there's not really many avenues you can go for it to be crazy, insane, different than the first. And also, it's like, if it's going to be one season, I really think it has to be like 6 to 8 episodes. You cannot go farther than that. It would be a fucking shit show. And even then, 6 to 8 episodes might be even stretching it. I mean, even Thadland, you look at that movie, they had an hour-and-a-half movie, and it was bad. It was not great. But this will be on Amazon Prime. They said it's a season-long thing. They Most of the people are booked to be back on it. The only thing is with this too is how are you gonna, again, like going back to it, is this wasn't a plot-driven show. I mean, there was plots, there was stories a little bit, but nothing crazy. And that's the thing where I think it's gonna lose some substance and lose, kind of like people looking back. Of course, people are gonna tune in because, it's a reboot. Everyone tunes in the first few episodes no matter what. So you have to have a hook off these first 2 episodes. And I can only think of the NIL money. You can go into how they're going to have the craziest parties, they're going to have the craziest whatever. But even if, like, you look back and, like I said earlier, it's like, if Alex is a coach, it makes no sense because he just didn't even want to play. He wanted to be a backup quarterback. Thad, basically, I mean, you could say he's at the end of his NFL career, or he blew all his money. That's another avenue that you could go with it. But I think in the end, it's something I'm excited for just to test out to watch, but it's not something that I think is going to really be eye-catching. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it's entertaining enough, but it will be something I'll tune into, just like every reboot. At least give it a chance. You got to give something a chance before you say it's fucking shit. The only backstory I have of saying that it could be shit is Thadland, and Thadland was bad. So I think, showing that, Thad, his capabilities actually as an actor and Jack Reacher are actually, that's exciting because, I always thought, he kind of disappeared and then went into Jack Reacher and you're like, holy shit, he actually had, a good career. All the rest of the people off of Blue Mountain State disappeared. So that's the thing, is it could be something that they could drive along, and maybe if they have a really good idea, they can really stretch it. But I think if you look at it, it can't be stretched farther than 6 to 8 episodes. And if it is, it's kind of going to be bare minimum, look with that. Now, in the end, if it is good, great. It's another great show. There's not been many great reboots, so you're going to have to put it in a section of like, holy shit, it was actually a good reboot. But I think it's something that, again, it's going to be a raunchy comedy, so I'll like it. I'll get some jokes out of it, whatever. But, in the end, I just want to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys are looking forward to this, if you think it's kind of a stretch, if you think it's, why the hell are they doing it? Thadland was shit in general. They should have just ended there, and maybe that's why they're doing it, to kind of get a happy ending of some sorts, because Thadland was looked back at kind of like, eh. So, let me know what you think. Let me know if you're excited, and let me know if it's something that, why the hell are we seeing it?